Hey guys, good afternoon, and welcome to Armchair Conversation with Rob. Today, I'm going to give you a real short and sweet one because this is actually based off someone else's work. Um, every now and then I mention things about like the laws of success, and there are at least 12, probably more, that are about the things you do, the mental attitudes you take, the actions that you take to help you move toward manifesting greatness, bringing you more success, more happiness, more health, wealth, love, etc. The one that I'm going to hit today is called the law of compensation, and the notes that I've gotten from it were from a talk given by a man named Bob Proctor. For those of you that know me, you know I listen to all kinds of speakers that do all kinds of things, and Bob Proctor is one who impresses me because he is definitely a rags to riches kind of person. He went from being a basic, plain old working class, broke guy to wealthy and happy and healthy guy who is in his 70s right now and has amazing energy. So he talked about on a talk I listened to once the law of compensation. I wrote some of this down, so if you see me glancing down my notes, don't make fun of me too much anyway. But the law of compensation basically is the amount of money that you um, earn or that you can have will always be in exact ratio to at least three things. One of them is the need for what you do. The second one is your ability to do it. And the third one is the difficulty there will be in replacing you, which is really my favorite one of the three, I think. Because there are some people that say that they don't think it matters what you're doing, but how you're doing it. And that goes along to me with number three. So the need for what you do is the first one out of those portions of that law. The need for what you do, meaning finding a niche and filling it. Like, for example, Post-it notes were a failure by the chemist to make a glue that lasts forever, and those things are everywhere. We use them all kinds of places. Many different people make them. But that was originally a failure by the chemist. But it happened to fill a niche because we needed something that we could post very easily and quickly, quick adhesive. But it also became apparent that it was useful in the fact that it could be removed and placed back several times before it lost its stickiness. Okay, so that one was a need issue. It just comes to mind really quickly, but there are other need issues. I mean, Spanx. I saw a thing on Spanx on TV where, because I even watched my mom and them cut, portions of their pantyhose off, and now this person made these Spanx, and it's a professionally made, devices similar to what they used to do, and now this lady's made millions. Okay, so you find a need and you fill it. Um, the need for what you do could be anything because our world is so expansive now that there is probably going to be a market for just about anything that you can think of, and your ability to create is limitless. I mean, and because my middle child Joe, he comes up with all kinds of crazy ideas all the time, and I won't even say crazy anymore, but I'll say creative ideas because he thinks of things, and there may be a niche for those things in someday in the future, and I hope he continues to create wherever and whenever. So Joe, if you're hearing this one, keep right on doing what you're doing, buddy. The second thing was also your ability to do it. Okay, ability to do it to me goes back to a previous talk I gave about finding your formula, what makes you uniquely you. Because when people think of ability to do something, sometimes they think only of the skill and the talent. And talent is cool and is good and is a pleasant and desirable thing to have, but it's not the only thing that propels you to success. Okay, it's just like there's a saying, if attitude was all it took, we'd all be famous. Okay, talent isn't enough. You also have to have other things that go with talent, But talent does tie in with the ability to do something, because there are people that are more talented than us sleeping up under a bridge, okay? Trust me when I tell you, okay, for all you guys out there that think you all that, and women too, but I'm speaking from the guy perspective. There are people more talented than you, as I say, sleeping up under a bridge right now. There are cats in jail that ain't never gonna get out, that's bigger, stronger, faster, better looking, can do anything better than you, but they're spending the best of their lives in jail based on their decisions. Okay? So the ability is more than just the talent. Okay, you have to do something with it. You have to bring it to fruition. You have to activate it by thoughts, words, deeds, and actions. Okay, so your ability to do it is going to affect what happens with the need. It has to be personalized. That's why I'm always big on your own formula. Because listen, there are a million different types of post-it notes out there, and some of us don't care which kind we buy, but some of us do. Okay, it's just like watches. God knows there's thousands of watch styles out there, but there are only some that you buy more so than others, or if you have a particular brand and you have a reason why you like that brand. Well, to me, that ties in with the ability to do something. You like that brand because of whatever things that it has to offer, what it represents to you, how it's marketed, how it's packaged. It's not just the fact that it's a watch, because every watch just about keeps time. But again, particular things that make it stand out. And you are no different. Okay, there are going to be particular things about what you have to bring the world that stand out. It's why I'm more comfortable these days on camera talking about this stuff, because I know there are people out there that are going to like my style, what I do. There are going to be people out there that don't. Okay, it is what it is. But there is a need for those who just talk down to earth, unscripted and raw, right out here just like this. And I'm not the only one out there on YouTube. There's a bunch of guys out there. I saw some guy the other day named King Human. He has his own style. Um, he sits on camera and talks to you about all kinds of subjects. I'm trying to play with the personal development subject because it's something that's important to me, and developing yourself and how to begin to apply that, because there's a lot of people in my estimation that are out there that want to get started, but sometimes they look at some of the material out there and it's just beyond their level. It's too complicated for where they are right now, and they just want to get started, play around, and be a regular person and still be on this journey. I'm for you, okay, because I just talk and talk to you about whatever it is I'm thinking about, and I enjoy myself. There may be a point where I offer stuff that's more complex, but right now this works for me and it feels good, and it lets me feel like I'm getting out there. So this is my ability, my skill, my style, my smile. And there is a need for what I do, because there are people that are going to want to hear it the way I present it. Um, Now, the third one is the difficulty there will be in replacing you. Okay. Now, this is where self development really comes in, and the same thing even for a product. Your style and your smile, and you working on your craft, can put you in a position, especially in a career or in a job, where you are very skilled and talented, you have ability, and they have a need for what you're doing, and you're doing it like nobody else does. And that makes it very difficult for somebody to replace you. It doesn't give you license, and now hear me, okay? It doesn't give you skilled people out there who have become a little bit disgruntled or a little bit arrogant with life the ability or the right to hold your talents over somebody's head to extort extra money or anything like that. You should be doing what you do because you love it. But if you are irreplaceable and you then use that as a weapon, I have a little problem with you. But that's my judgment, and that's not yours. That's your job, not mine. So let's go back to the difficulty of being replacing you. There are going to be certain types of things that in a product line that would be difficult to replace. Whether that be because they have a patent on it, whether that be because it's a proprietary blending of ingredients or assemblage of parts. And so the difficulty there being replacing that also helps with feeling the need. And all of this stuff, going back to the law of compensation, helps to determine the value that is placed on a particular product. And that is something that I realized very early on being in retail, is that your products don't always sell themselves, but sometimes they do. People say that, but people don't really buy your product. They buy your personality. They buy your unique skills and ability more than they buy the particular product. Um, Unless they are an absolute diehard fan of a product and they would buy it no matter who was selling it, you have some sway and influence, okay, over what people buy. So that being said, the compensation comes into account when your abilities and the need for what you do and your ability to be irreplaceable can affect sales. It's the same as having a patent to me. You are yourself. Nobody else can be you. So in essence, you have your own naturally occurring patent on what you do and how it affects the business, or even your personal life as far as social networking and etc. Okay, and so you're compensated based on that. Okay, because we don't get paid for the time, we get paid for the value we put in the time as far as business is concerned. And I honestly think that even if we don't want to admit it, that our relationships and our social interactions are the same. People want to be around us when we put value in the time. People want to hear us when we put value in what we speak. Okay, people want to be there to share with us or give to us based on the value that we put in the time, whether that value is them learning something from us, feeling good about us learning something from them, mutual camaraderie. You know, those are things that you have to think about when you talk about value. And so when it comes to compensation and money, we're talking about value in the marketplace. And the truth is, in the marketplace, if you're not very valuable, you don't get much money. If you're easily replaceable, like for example, loath to do this, but say you work for a certain fast food chain and all you have to do basically is stand up there and take orders and push buttons with pictures on them. Okay. You're not at that point in time valuable enough that you can't be easily replaced by somebody else who can push the pictures and push the buttons. Okay. Um, as you grow and your abilities come to the forefront and you become more valuable in that you've expanded yourself, you've grown yourself, you've got more training, you got more knowledge, then you move into a different position as a promotion. Okay, and you become more valuable, and so maybe you're not as easily replaced as you were before. And as you continue up the ladder, so let's say you're an associate, then you become team leader, crew chief, whatever. I'm going to use fast food as an example. Then you become an assistant manager, then maybe a manager, and then maybe a district manager. And at each of those levels, the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty they have in replacing you enhances your value. Okay, to me, your personal life is no different. If you are the kind of friend that nobody wants to be around for very long because they can't stand what you spit, okay, then you're not very valuable to that social circle, that relationship. But if you're a person who contributes to that, and in my opinion has caring and kind words to say and is supportive and is a team player, then they're going to want to, and you make people feel good to be around you, they're going to want to be around you more. More of those people are going to demand or wish for more of your time, and then they're going to turn you into other people who are also going to like you and demand more of your time. And so that increases your value. So the law of compensation really, in my opinion, can work both in business and it can work for regular things, because a lot of what you do as far as gaining compensation isn't really about money. Think about it. It really isn't. You get compensated by the camaraderie you get and the friendships you get with people. You get compensated by their encouragement. You get compensated by their support and acceptance and their emotion. And so it's no different. The only thing that changes is what you get back as compensation. Because everybody that thinks compensation is only money, I'm asking you to think about it a little deeper. Anyway, I just wanted to keep this one short, But to rehash, the law of compensation basically states that the amount of money you earn will always be an exact ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there will be in replacing you. I feel like that law of compensation can also be turned to your personal and social and business relationships in the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and difficulty in replacing you. In friendships and relationships and social interactions, especially so, the difficulty in replacing you and your ability and need, they almost go backwards for me. The difficulty in replacing you would be number one in that one. In my opinion, your abilities and need for what I do would be 2 and 3 respectively. So anyway, just throwing it out there, having some fun. Give me some comments, give me some feedback. As always, I appreciate you, and thank you for sharing my armchair.